Hey there, pickleball players. I am MaryEmily, Southern Pickleball's own director of marketing, and I am here today with my dad and my co-founder of Southern Pickleball, Mark Spackman. So on this episode, we are going to dive into some topics that you really don't want to miss. Mark's experience at PPA Worlds, ALW still dominating, and these junior players are still causing problems on the courts. And we have some Southern Pickleball tournaments throughout the end of the year that you definitely want to be a part of. So, with all of that in mind, let's get into it.
All right. Hey, before we get going, let's thank our sponsors, Mizuno, Diadem, Head Pickleball. We just really appreciate their support. I do want to really thank PPA for an amazing tournament. But before we get into that, I just wanted to share with everybody else what you and I and our team at Southern Pickleball has been talking about. We've had to do some soul searching and sort of figure out what we want this podcast to be. We just want this podcast to be the same fun, entertaining, positive, feel good that you have at a Southern Pickleball tournament. I think we want it to be like more uplifting stories, insights, backgrounds on players, maybe not as clickbaity or getting into all the crazy stuff. But that means we're not going to dodge the tough topics either. I think just if we have to talk about some of the tough topics, instead of being part of the problem, we want to try to offer some solutions. So I just wanted to share with everybody so everybody know what they're getting. We appreciate you taking the time to it. But tonight you're going to get dad and daughter, younger player, older player, different skill levels, very different perspectives, as I'm very aware of. But for me, a chance to spend time with someone that I love, talking about a sport that has changed my life. And so I really appreciate everyone watching, listening, and I'd really appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. So glad to be here with you, MaryEmily.
Yeah, I'm glad I can be here too, and I'm glad that we're kind of making all these changes and doing all these fun things with the Southern Pickleball Podcast. But enough about that for a second as well. I want to hear about everything that happened at the World Pickleball Championships because I know you were there. You were actually on site for it, and I was not. I was away on my own adventures. So tell me what all of it, was looking like.
Well, we can do the rundown first that everybody probably wants to hear. You can go to pickleball.com and look up the tournament and see it. But, men's doubles, pretty big upset. Federico and Hayden took down JW and CJ Klinger in the finals. That was after beating Ben Johns and Gabe Tardio in the semifinals. Really interesting that, they lost in the semifinals, Johns and Tardio, and then turned around and lost again to Alshon and Diascu in the bronze. I don't know when they've lost two matches in a row, much less in, back-to-back days. So
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Men's singles, Federico over Hayworth. I thought the cool thing about that is that that puts Federico back at number 1 in the standings. So a lot of Southern Pickleball players can probably relate to that. If you go to southernpickleball.com, you can see the Southern Pickleball standings and see where you stand. Are you too number 1 like Federico? We've just added some cool things where you can see all your medal breakdown and everything too. So.
Yeah, we were looking at that. It's awesome. I think that those standings are really, really awesome for our players. And I know that the pro players be caring about it too. So it's good to see that you have all the mix of everything.
Yeah, I even heard one of our players got a sponsorship this weekend because they were number 3 in the Southern Pickleball standings. But, basically how it works, every tournament you play, if you medal, you get points for your medals. That's all, described on the website. We keep up with it all year long. At the end of the year, we have a really cool Players of a Year awards and stuff. So we appreciate everybody participating in that. Women's was, business as usual. Anna Bright and Anna Leigh over Catherine and Paris Todd in the finals. Catherine and Paris beat Jade Kawamoto and Rachel Rohrabacher in the semis. A little bit of controversy there. Rachel, pulled a hammy or something. I can't remember. Just hurt herself somehow. Wasn't a trainer on site, so she had to use Paris Todd's trainer.
So we're talking no trainer on site from PPA?
Yeah, for a moment. But, before that, we run tournaments every weekend. We don't have trainers on site either.
Yeah, but it's a little different when you get up to that level, when you're talking about a pro athlete.
We don't know what those contracts are. Paris had her trainers. So, I just bring it up because everybody else is talking about it. I thought the tournament was absolutely amazing. There's a few things that could be fine-tuned, but, Then women's singles, Anna Leigh over Kate Fahey. Kate continues to be a little emotional. Maybe just think about that a little bit because we're going to get into some of the junior stuff. I just think we all, pro players, senior players like myself, everybody need to be thinking about the example we're setting for the junior players right now. Mixed doubles, Ben Johns, Anna Leigh over JW in Georgia. So, yeah, that means another triple crown for Anna Leigh. Hayden Anna Bright over Christian Alshon and Tyra Black for the bronze. I don't know.
So basically, what I'm getting at with everything is that it was like the same, 10 teams that were kind of all up there doing the same thing. Same story, different week, just shifting around maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a little upset in that. I mean, we do have, I think we're seeing the same teams at the top, the same. I mean, there's definitely the top 10, 15 players on the PPA Tour right now. But I think that's what's exciting with the PPA Challenger Tour. You're seeing that
That's
out.
true.
And so that was one thing, Anwar Brahim, apologize if I pronounced her last name wrong, but Anwar from right here in Georgia, big win for him going in after being the number one ranked PPA Challenger player, went in the tournament number 44 seed. They upset Deckel Bar and AJ Kohler. And then he also won the special challenger event they have. So I think we'll see Anwar with he's not going to have to keep winning all the local money balls around here because he's now going to probably have a PPA contract. That goes back for me. I saw Anwar in one of the first tournaments he ever played. I was playing up at Charlotte at the indoor facility there, and it was one of his first tournaments. He was a tennis player, college tennis player up in the area, and he just picked it up, and he was hitting ridiculous tweeners and behind the back shots, not even caring. So, I mean, to see now that's been 4 years later that Pro Tour, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that there's going to be some just different people that we'll see rise through the ranks with that, but that's going to be a cool.
Yeah, everybody
little
keep their eyes out for Samantha Buick too here. I think she's another.
She's going to be a good one.
And then the other, I mean, just we're talking about PPA Worlds, but PPA Challenger, Little Rock, Arkansas was earlier this month, October 10th through 12th. Jada Minifield, who was on our podcast not too long ago, took the gold in that one. So her with Kayla Williams, I think, so she played with that. So they took the gold in the PPA Challenger there.
Okay, so enough about the pro, because we've gotten through that. We understand the pros are doing their pro thing. Tell me about the amateur experience, because there was a lot of amateur players out there that weekend, and I mean, you were one of them. You were playing yourself. So, I mean, I know that it looked like it was a really big makeup. I mean, there was over 3,500 players. No telling how many attendees were out there. 5% international? I mean, that's awesome. I mean, it was really representing the world when you're looking at that.
I did think it really fit the definition of what they said was a world tournament. I mean, when people talk about the nationals in the world, and it made me hope that maybe in the long run there's room for everybody. I think that's what our hope is Southern Pickleball, that we can work with USA Pickleball, we can work with Duper, we can work with PPA, we can work with, everybody and bring sort of all the sports all the different entities together. But I was proud because everywhere I went out there, we saw Southern Pickleball t-shirts. I mean, there was Southern Pickleball t-shirts everywhere, and I feel pretty confident in saying that if you cut out Texas, I mean, obviously there was about 900 to 1,000 players there for Texas, but because it was so local.
Yeah.
But if you take out the Texas players, I am confident that Southern Pickleball had the most players of any tournament operators in the country represented at the PPA Worlds. So that was really cool. And we had a lot of players that won medals out there, and wanted to talk about a few of them.
Representing out here. We love to see it.
Yeah, so if I missed anybody, write it in the comments, or if I missed somebody, put their name in the comments so they get credit. But these were some of the medal winners: Card and Deanna Collins. They happened to win in my division, the 4-0-50 mixed.
So you were not taking home a medal this weekend is what you're saying?
Well, funny story with that, MaryEmily. So on Saturday, I got out there Thursday, didn't play Thursday, Friday, played Saturday, played 4 matches over 8 hours, and we'll get into talking about that. I mean, it was a long experience, maybe longer than it should have been, but whatever. So, but then the PPA, heard my complaints and listened to it. And so Sunday, Laura and I, we were able to play our 2 matches that we lost within about an hour, and we were done. And so they made sure that we didn't
There
have
you
any
go.
wait or delays on Sunday
Yeah.
morning. And so that gave us plenty of time to watch our friends play and see Carr and Deanna win the gold. Tanya Miller was a winner. Phil Harrington, Joe Z from up in Virginia with Jonathan Litt, Mark Wampler from down in Biloxi, Ralph Fleming, Bobby Vo from over in Louisiana, Noble Gutierrez, Kevin Mulder up in Tennessee, Mark Bush, Peter Capianco, Tyler Reffling from Georgia, Deborah Lewis, Maddie Childs, Tammy McGee, Kelly Steck from Mississippi, Alyssa Brown, Raphael Antigua, Kate Smith, 14-year-old right here in Georgia, Tracy Tippins, Doug Beer, Annie Heine from over in Augusta, Terry Farmer, Marlena Martis from the Pickler in Biloxi. Joe Manager, looking forward to being back down there. Hopefully this year. Let's connect soon. Steven Stedelman, who's also a big sponsor of pickleball in that area. And then people I was actually sort of traveling and hanging out with, Steve. Um,
We had him on the podcast,
yeah, Steve Lau
Yeah.
with Jammin' for Joy tournament. His tournament will be again August next year. One of the biggest. He took silver in the 4-5.
Okay.
And what was interesting, his partner Lynn Jackson, her flight with all this stuff going on. We won't get into the politics and everything, but with all the flight cancellations and different stuff Saturday night, her flight got canceled. So she arrived on Sunday morning about 10:30, took an Uber to the facility with her suitcase in hand and hopped on the court for an 11:30 start and played with Steve, and they went all the way to silver. So I thought that was pretty
That
cool.
is crazy. I wonder how many other people were out there that were catching flights and missing the same thing, jumping around. Because I mean, that's just,
There was a lot of people that were worried about it all week
Yeah.
out there, really. I mean, even so, I arrived on Thursday. My partner Doyle was coming in on Friday, and we had got some word about the flight. So we were even wondering, what would that look like if he didn't come? I heard some stories of some people that chose to drive at the last second instead of fly because of that.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad they
yeah.
still were able to make it and pull a medal out of it too. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, but so that was a
That's
lot of our
super
great
cool.
players, and they all made their way to Pickleball Boulevard.
Yeah, so tell me about that Pickleball Boulevard because I saw a lot of pictures about it. Was it like as neat as it looked? Did it live up to the hype of it?
For me, it definitely, I don't know what I was expecting. Really, I was trying to think about. I was telling people that it exceeded my expectations, but then when I said that, I was trying to think what were my expectations? Because, when you go back to the first year, you heard so many horror stories about, restrooms and courts and, just not being prepared for the crowd.
Yeah.
Uh, that was not my experience here. It was amazing. I mean, when you got there, you just this whole long, I mean, I don't know how long it is, but just this long aisle, imagine with all these pickleball vendors on both sides with pickleball courts going down the middle. Um, and just fun stuff too. You had everything from high chews giving out candy to dude wipes, telling you to keep your rear clear and passing out dude wipes to everybody, and having their car, to take pictures of. And so, and then all the different paddle manufacturers, everything
I
that
mean, they
was
had like a Pickleball Central store there too, right?
really cool. Pickleball Central store. I mean, I think they had every paddle, I guess that they deal with in there, but even paddles that people were saying they're having trouble getting a hold of. They had the lifetime balls for sale. Um, but if we go back, I mean, one thing even too, shout out to Riley Newman. I think on here before I've given Riley some grief,
Yeah.
but I mean, he was out there they had one sponsor that he was doing something with where they were letting people hit ATPs, and if they hit the ATP and they hit
Hmm.
whatever, a hat or a bag that was on there, he was just out there having so much fun with the things. And then I watched him play a match too with Jay, and he just looks like he's a changed man. He just looks like that he is truly his little time off. He just looks like he's truly enjoying pickleball, and I just think he's so good for the sport when he's in that space too.
Yeah.
So that was good to see there. But yeah, really cool with all that.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that it had like a little bit of a better experience than what I think some people had said from previous ones. I mean, with just like the overall management of the shuttles and the restrooms and everything like that. Because I mean, that can be so crazy. I mean, I was at a fully different experience at a music festival over the weekend, and that was craziness to a different level. But it sounds like that, PPA got it right with what they were doing.
Well, y'all probably
So
needed the restrooms more than at the music festival, but I don't know.
no, no, it's
Um,
different, but yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
Well, this was good. I mean, so imagine when you come in, you have this long thing, you have all the different vendors down the side, then you had the food, and they had some really good food options. It's just like every day you're looking at stuff going, I want to eat here. I don't want to leave because
Yeah,
the food was so good. And then the operations was at the very back, restrooms were at the very back, but there was plenty of restrooms. If you had VIP tickets, you could also go into the country club and use those. Um, the shuttles, I mean, were great. I mean, big buses that were running every 15 minutes, because they have no on-site parking there,
yeah,
but we never had to wait long at all. The drivers and the people organizing the lines were great. The players getting on the shuttles were great. I mean, it was just really what I sort of dreaded as an experience, getting back and forth with that. Just seemed it ran smooth. I was like, wow, I mean, somebody really has some operations experience or something to figure out how to work all this out. So I thought that was great. Food was great. Stadium court, I mean, they had like two different levels on one side for VIP, cabana type seating or little things around
hmm
the end, grandstand over on the other side. I mean, it was packed. I mean, there was, they had one night where they had celebrity thing with Terrell Owens and Dirk Nowitzki were there playing.
yeah,
They had some cool names like Hunter Pence, the former, I guess was it the Giants that he played with last, like baseball player was playing in the 4-0 bracket. I mean, so it seemed like every tournament operator or anybody that has to do with anything in the country was there. So it was just really, really, really cool. You know, Still have some operational things I think they can work on. So,
I mean, there's always going to be room for growth, right? Like that's part of it. I mean, I think we even learn that as, tournament operators, like when we're doing stuff, like every single tournament, we always say that like we love hearing the positive feedback, but we also want to hear how we can always get better. And I think that that's true. I mean, like, because we always can find that there's going to be something that we could do to enhance that player experience or, make maybe something run a little bit smoother or, you know, make it better overall. So, I mean, I'm sure in the same way that they're dealing with the same kind of like growth. And like I
for
said, I
sure.
mean,
And I guess I sound like I just said, wow, there's like operational excellence doing the shuttles. But I guess when I'm saying, as far as the amateur tournament experience, it seems like there's still a very heavy focus on the pro. And I guess that it is, it's the PPA World Tournament. The pro is the main thing. Um, but I felt like, there's just some little things that they could tweak it that operations desk being in the very back corner, it made it take so long for the players to walk to and from that then when every time you got to the match, then we as players wanted to warm up a long time again. So then,
yeah.
and then you'd have to walk back again. And it's just only natural. It's like if you're taking that 5-minute walk to the table, then you get stopped by 7 other people that are out there at Worlds that you
Yeah.
hadn't seen yet. You don't want to, so it
Don't know
just,
if you're going to see him again. So you're like, hold up, I want to say something really quick.
right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the brackets were big. And this is one thing I was trying to explain to the players too. I mean, all the players say they want double elimination a lot of time. Well, not say all. I mean, but the players do at those big things think it should be double elimination and seeded. But the nature of a double elimination tournament is you're going to have waits because you have to wait for other matches to finish.
Yeah.
And so if I'm playing a 2 out of 3 match, and you're playing 2 out of 3, I might get beat in 15 minutes. You might win in an hour and 15 minutes. So there's already an hour gap.
Yeah.
But now there's somebody in a
There's
different
another
bracket
queue
that's
and then you're
waiting.
waiting. And
And
yeah.
so I just don't, I would have loved if they maybe didn't overbook it. I think there's their own software. I mean, they own, pickleball brackets or pickleball.com, where it's called now, pickleball tournaments, where players could enter the score in the court like we do now in our tournaments. If anybody's been to one of our tournaments lately, they're pretty darn efficient with that. So
Yeah.
that might be a way, maybe using the next up feature that's in there. Um, but I got there. I mean, just to sort of sum up Thursday and Friday I got there. I think I was calling everybody and go, man, this PPA World is exceeding everything. It's the greatest thing ever. You know, you need to put it on your bucket list. Saturday, it went for long, crazy. I mean, we played 4 matches over 8 hours, which was just too long.
Yeah,
And
that's a long
so
day for anyone.
and so at the end of the day, I was just like, I've done it once, maybe. Um, Sunday come out, and it was crazy because we got beat really, really quick, like we talked about. But then I got to experience the whole rest of the festivities and watch other people, and I was like, okay, I love this again. Everybody needs to put it on their bucket list, which made me just think if they could fine tune that amateur thing to where it's like a normal tournament and you play for 3 to 5 hours, 3 to 6
Yeah.
hours,
And then
and
you
then
can go and experience everything afterwards. Because, I mean, on that Saturday, like, I mean, sure, you were there for 8 hours, but I mean, also, you're kind of in the headspace of like playing a tournament. So you don't really have the mentality to be like, okay, well, I'm going to go and check out XYZ over here. I don't want to go look at this booth because, next thing I know, I'm going to be called to a court. And now I have to go and
oh, you
shift my
got it
mindset
exactly.
again.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to buy a paddle. I'm not
Yeah.
really talking to the sponsors. I'm not really going to go watch a match. But if I played a little bit, then I could even maybe go home, or go back to the hotel,
Yeah.
take a shower, take the shuttle back, and then really be engaged. Because they had concerts there at night. They had live bands playing. I mean, that was the thing. This big stage at the end, open lawn area with chairs and couches where you could hang out. One thing, if they would let us, I mean, we could really make some money, MaryEmily, next year if we could go in there. And this was Wendy Lyle's idea, so we're stealing it. But we could rent chairs there.
Oh, do you like a chair rental?
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
I can imagine that would be successful for something like that.
yeah, yeah. We could. They
Well,
just
you're
wouldn't
saying
have
it out
chairs.
loud now, so now you're not going to be able to do it. It's going to
Yeah,
actually
we just
be
gave that idea
PPA.
there. So
PPA is going to do it
so I
themselves.
look forward to renting my $55 PPA logo chair next year. But I mean, but as I say that, I think I'm going back. I would encourage everybody to go back.
Yeah.
Hats off to Connor Pardo and all his team. I mean, they did a good job with it.
So the real question I do have to ask, though, I mean, you were playing the seniors division this time, so you didn't have to play against any junior players, or did you?
I did not have to play junior, so I didn't have to get beat by an 11-year-old like I did
I was like, that
in
was your last
Bristol.
PPA experience, so I
Um,
had to ask.
Thank goodness I wasn't on the courts near the juniors a lot because there was an incident out there where I guess a couple of junior fathers had a disagreement or something, and one of them got pushed and another one fell and hit his head, and they ended up having to have the medics and stuff
So
like this.
they're saying the parents, not the players. This was the
Yeah,
parents?
this was the parents, that I mean, basically a fight, I guess.
And the parents are
I didn't
duking
see
it
it
out
or
over their
whatever,
kids?
or pushing it out. I can't really.
Okay.
But I tell you what, those kids, I mean, their line calls are atrocious. I mean, I watched some matches, and their line calling is atrocious. The other thing is the posturing, the yelling, the stare downs, the finger wagging. Um,
Well, I think that's what you said before. I mean, some of it comes from the top. I mean, you see some of those players that do that, they're screaming after every point. They're, doing the kind of posturing and stuff like that. I mean, and I think that that is part of the game to some extent because it's what makes it entertaining to watch for people. But then also, I think it's also giving a little bit of a bad rep or a bad rub off for the younger players. But I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, we wouldn't have televised pickleball if you didn't have some level of that energy, that excitement, that everything that was getting that.
well, that's a lot to unpack there that you said. I mean, you're getting into whether pickleball's really a fun sport to watch or really television worthy. I mean, do we really have to have the name calling? I mean, that's sort of like makes me think like NHL. I mean, does people like NHL hockey as much if you don't have the fights, or it's because you're going to get a fight every once in a while? But the true hockey fans don't care about the fights.
Yeah.
But the casual, I mean, I want to go to a hockey game. I'm like, I hope I'm going to get a fight in there at some point. And so, I mean, maybe I'm just disappointed because I didn't get to see the parent fight that the PPA. I don't know, but I just heard about it. But no, I do think, to your point, that does make it entertaining. Some of that with the pros, but I think we just got to think about that as pro players. all that, and I think it comes down to the parents. It's not the kids' fault. I just think the kids are under intense pressure to win because right now there's just such an appearance of easy entry into the pro field. It's not as easy to think. There's a bigger gap than they think.
Oh, for sure.
These kids that are playing, every single one of them thinks they're going to be the next Anna Bright or Hayden Patrick and,
Yeah.
playing. And the gap is huge. It's not, there's a big gap between them and Jada Minifield. And then there's another gap between Jada and Anna Leigh,
Yeah.
But, I think there's the thing, and so the parents want them to win so bad, and I think they're under so much pressure to win that they're calling the lines the way they are, and then the parents wanting to win so bad that the parents, for the most part, not all parents are bad, but aren't correcting them, and I think if the parents would start acknowledging their kids and rewarding them for good sportsmanship and good behavior more than wins and losses on the court, I think we'd start seeing a change. And to be honest, if parents are listening out there, that good sportsmanship and how to get along with your opponents and build relationships, those are all life skills that are going to take their kids much further in life than whether or not they won a 12 and under PPA match in the third round on court 32,
Yeah.
at the PPA Worlds.
But also, you have no idea who that kid's going to be across from you either. Even the same way. You could be playing against that 12-year-old again, or you could decide that you want to play, with them, be your partner, and now they don't want to partner with you because you were just being a jerk with them. I think that the relationships are always going to be important when it comes to that for sure. So,
Yeah, I'd like to think that. I don't know how much of those are just self-serving. Hey, whatever, I'm going to play with whoever I think gives me the best chance to win right now. But I think it's the parents. I think also, PPA probably has to step in, put more monitors on the courts, maybe even referee those matches. And then, of course, that means more, cost, to be able to cover that. I was even thinking like, putting Southern Pickleball in the equation. We've switched lately to where we're going 16 and up, and we want to hold more junior tournaments, but part of it I think that we think about and everybody and the parents need to think about is if this is what we have to deal with, that you're not going to coach your kids to make good line calls, you're going to allow them to talk trash back and forth to each other, you're going to fight each other in the stands and all that. Who are the operators that are going to want to
take
take
on
the
that.
risk and the
Yeah.
liability to give the kids, and we need that. So I just think we as operators and parents of the kids and all that, you and I talked about it before. I just think some of the stuff I saw out there, back when you were that age, if you were playing, I think I would have just pulled you off the court,
Yeah, back when when I was playing tennis and soccer and all of that stuff as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I just been like, hey, Mary
Yeah.
Emily, you don't get to play anymore.
Yeah.
We're going home because you're cheating.
Yeah.
You're not going to cheat, or stop, and you need to go apologize and change the call, or something. I think I don't know. That's how always when I was coaching tennis and the high school tennis teams and stuff, I always really thought the sportsmanship and the attitude of the players and all that was more important than the wins losses on the courts. And I think it's proven over time, with a lot of those relationships and seeing the success of all the kids, I sort of stand by that. So just unfortunate. That was one unfortunate, but again, it's not PPA's fault.
No, it's definitely not
It's
PPA's fault.
it's just an unfortunate problem that they have to deal with.
Yeah, and it's something that's systemic at this point that it's just figuring out how to manage it. From both sides.
Yeah.
How as the tournament operators do you handle that? How as a parent do you operate that? How as just a spectator on the side or an opponent if you're playing against a junior? Yeah,
Yeah, I just
just a
think these
lot of
parents think
balances.
there's they think they're all going to make millions of dollars a year, like Leigh Waters and Ben Johns, and so they think if they lose this match, we just lost millions of dollars. When the fact is, probably the worst case is that you lost a $5 medal. And
Maybe the entry fee that you
yeah, but I will say they had really cool medals. So they had really cool medals, almost as cool as the medals that we're going to have at our Southern Pickleball Championships.
I was gonna say, well, we also even before that we have our Christmas tournament medals. Those are going to be pretty awesome
Yeah,
as
they
well.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah, custom made medals.
we have some really cool holiday series tournaments coming up for Southern Pickleball. We're going to be in 3 different locations over about 2 weeks. And those have a holiday themed t-shirt as well as our holiday medal. That was like a fan favorite last year. Everyone loved those holiday t-shirts. And we wanted to add on to it. So we're going to be in Cape Coral, Florida for Deck the Halls with Pickleballs. That's going to be our second annual tournament from December 6th to 7th. We're also going to have our Publix Candy King Classic at Rhythm and Rally in Macon, Georgia, the same weekend.
The world's largest indoor pickleball facility.
World's largest indoor pickleball facility. It was a really big Christmas tournament last year. It's always been really, really fun. And then we're also, the following weekend after that, December 13th through 14th, we're going to be at Christmas on the Courts in Florence, Alabama, at their new facility out there, which from the photos and stuff I've seen looks really awesome.
Amazing facility. The other cool thing about that is we if you're out there and you're around the Southeast and you're thinking about, maybe I want to get in this pickleball business or whatever, we are starting to, license territories and sanction tournaments in different areas with Southern Pickleball, and we will be running our tournament director training. This will be our third tournament operator training school now that we've ran. Have a lot of graduates out there now doing a lot of good things in pickleball, so info at Southern Pickleball if you want to get some info on that.
Yeah, it'll be leading up to that, and then it'll kind of coincide with that weekend as well, so it's going to be pretty awesome. We've had some really awesome things come out of that, so.
Yeah, and then in November, we got all our, the last 2 weeks of November that we got coming up. That's kind of our time that we're sort of, we're always trying to give back. So this weekend we're at Planet Pickle indoor facility with the Special Olympics Happy Hitters team that Carla Blaginin runs up there. So we have a benefit tournament for that. And then the next weekend we'll be in Rome, Georgia for It Takes Guts, benefiting Hans Rufert. And at the same time, we'll have one for cystic fibrosis going on. So you can see all that at southernpickleball.com, right?
Yeah, and all of those are also going to be qualifiers for our Southern Pickleball Championships. That's going to be back down in Macon at the world's largest indoor pickleball facility. So that's really awesome opportunity. If you haven't already qualified, this is your opportunity to do so. Like, these tournaments are kind of it for you to be able to get in for this year.
So how do you qualify for Southern Championships?
You have to medal.
In a Southern
Pickleball tournament.
So there's about 6 left.
Yeah.
Your
options
you
are
haven't done
dwindling.
it, your time is running out. Last year, 1,300 players.
Yeah.
If you want to be a part.
Yeah, and if you haven't signed up yet, make sure you sign up if you have already qualified, because that's something also, like, we just want to make sure we get those brackets, make sure everyone has space so we don't have any crazy long nights like we did before.
We are going to cut it off a little bit this year. I'm not sure everybody enjoyed the 10 o'clock start times last year with playing through midnight, even though some people said it's the first time they ever played pickleball at midnight, but we are going to have to cut numbers a little bit more. But December 31st through January 4th, that's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, so it should be an exciting weekend for that, but we have a lot of exciting things coming up before that too, so we hope to get everyone involved.
Yeah, that was sort of a long, weird commercial for that, but basically you can just go to southernpickleball.com and see everything we talked about, right?
Yeah, that's all that matters. But yeah. Well, I'm glad that you gave us some insight into all of the fun things that happened out at Worlds. It sounds like it was a great weekend, a great experience. Sounds like something that I might need to add to my bucket list for next year, and that maybe you guys should too.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, help us along too. Just whether it's a comment on here or it's an email to info@southernpickleball, just let us, help us out. Let us know what you like to see at the tournaments. Do you want to see more vendors?
Yeah.
Is it, more swag? Is it lower entry fee? Is it referees? At the end of the day, we're a customer service business that we do pickleball. And so we just want all our Southern Pickleball players and members, we want to serve you. And so the more you can tell us what you want, the better we can provide it.
Yep, for sure. So awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me join again on this side of the podcast. It's always a fun time, and we can't wait to be back again soon.
Yeah, sorry, no exciting stuff about seeing players in the hotel pool or anything this time, but those days are over.
Nothing crazy, but we still are bringing the good energy, so that's what matters, right?
All right.
Okay. Have a good one, y'all.